thanks, Senator Gutierrez, for sitting down and talking with us a little bit today. As we sit here, the number of days left in this legislative session are nearly gone. How do you feel about the progress or lack of progress made this session related to gun violence and stopping mass shootings?
Yeah, it's certainly very disappointing, very frustrating. There's not a whole lot of progress. You've had a couple of gun bills that really mimic and mirror federal law. So that's not really creating a new law. You don't get to pat yourself on the back for copying something that's already federal law. We have put some more money into school safety. We're going to have that discussion finalized by Sunday in the Senate. And so there will be more infrastructure for school safety, but that doesn't really go to the common denominator, which is access to guns in the hands of people that shouldn't have them, like 18, 19, and 20-year-olds that can access an AR-15 today.
And last night you proposed an amendment to raise the age to purchase assault rifles to 21. It's legislation that you've been working on throughout this session. Once again, you hit a roadblock. Why do you think your fellow lawmakers can't or won't get behind this legislation?
Used to say I didn't know. Used to think it was about money. The NRA, possibly, sure. The NRA doesn't give a lot of money to state office holders, more on the federal level. I think that really on some level it is a bit of an article of faith to them, but I think more than anything, they're afraid of getting primaried by some right-wing nut in their community that says, you disenfranchised or you infringed on my Second Amendment rights. And that's just crazy. 66% of Republican voters want to see common sense gun safety solutions. They want to see extreme risk protective orders, background checks, universal background checks, and they want to see an age limit increase to 21. It's just common sense.
You apologized to your fellow colleagues in the Senate multiple times. You said you were apologizing for your behavior. What specifically are you apologizing for?
Well, I started out asking very nicely at the beginning of the session. I think you're supposed to use honey over vinegar. I tried that for a while, it didn't work, so then I switched to vinegar. I think people didn't like my decorum. I think I was accused of that once. Listen, this issue has become very personal to me. And I'm pretty angry about everything that happened out there. I'm pretty angry about what I've seen. I've seen every bit of those body cam footage. And it's hundreds of hours of body cam, not just one. There's 91 DPS troopers in there. 12 of them in that room. I've seen police and sheriff and other officers that were in that facility. And what you have to see is not pretty. The evidence that's in that room is not pretty. It's children, faces gone, one child decapitated. It's children lying in stacks. It's riddled with bullets, blood everywhere. It is it's a horror that nobody has ever seen, I don't think, and you've never seen it in any kind of movie. It is astounding where we are in this country, that we've allowed ourselves to get here, to allow unfettered access to guns in states like Texas, to anybody and everybody. And so I'm angry. I'm angry from what I've seen. I'm angry for those constituents, for those parents. I'm angry for that community. I'm angry that nobody listened to them in here. I'm angry that the Republicans pay lip service to this stuff. They truly don't care. They care more about guns than those kids. Pretty angry.
And knowing what you know and having seen what you've seen, how do you sit with your bills making little to no progress this session?
Well, as you said before, I've been nice, and I've yelled, and I've pushed back. Last night I tried to be nice again. If they need an apology for me being passionate about protecting children, then so be it. I apologize to them sincerely. But, we're broken here, and we've got to come up with solutions. People have hired me, they elect me to fix problems. I've done that all my life in public office. If there's a problem, you fix it. That's what people are expecting you to do here. So I don't know what they're doing, but I need to fix this problem some way or another. And so I think that the only way to do that is to continue to talk to people, whether it's in this building or their own constituents, and telling them your representative or your senator is not listening. Listen, there's not one issue out there, not any political issue, that is as important as this one. Imagine that, not inflation, not high cost gas, not anything. When you have a child and that child is taken away, you drop that kid off at school. You go to an award ceremony like these parents did for their kids. They left them there at the ceremony. Said, I'll see you later. Told them they loved them, how proud they were of them. And they never saw them again. They're just gone. You tell me what political issue is more important than that.
Do you think the state of Texas will ever tighten gun laws?
Not under these people's watch. Not under Abbott or Patrick. Not under the Republicans. People need to start voting less on party and more on who they think is going to change and make their state better. And in my opinion, that is the Democratic Party. But if you're a Republican and you've got this governor and that lieutenant governor saying to you, I'm not going to do anything on guns, well, watch out. Because one day your kid will be next. That's crazy to say, and it's sad to say it. But that's where we are in this state, and that's where they have put us. And our children are not safe. We're not safe at the mall. We're not safe at church. Listen, I own guns. I don't want to take away your guns. I do want to take the guns away from mentally ill people, absolutely. I do think that an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 20-year-old should not have an AR-15 and have the ease by which to buy it when he can't even smoke and he can't even have a beer. What are we talking about? We are beyond common sense in this state on guns. And these Republicans put us where we are.
Do you think there are any Republicans in office right now that could or would meet the Democrats to address this issue?
There's two that you saw, very brave Republicans. Justin Holland, Sam Harless, that voted in that committee. And they voted for common sense solutions. They didn't vote for anything radical here. They voted for an age limit. You know, if somebody runs them in their primary on that, then shame on them, because they voted to protect children from children. I know we all like to think that an 18-year-old young man is a man, but I was 18 once. I had a lot of learning to do still, a lot of developing to do still. We just got to get to a place where we come back to some center ground on this. There's no good guys with guns. There was 376 good guys with guns in Uvalde that waited for 77 minutes as children died. And each and every one of them, their exit interviews, they said they were afraid of that gun. They were afraid of the power of the AR-15, and I've seen the power of the AR-15. I've seen what it has done to the human body, and I've seen what it's done to little children's bodies. I don't get those images out of my mind, not ever. I go to bed thinking about them, and I wake up to them. And we need to figure this out. We need to figure this out.
What do you say to those Uvalde families that have lost everything after a legislative session like this one?
I texted them this morning. I told them I'm sorry. I tried my best. Told them that I didn't think that there was much, that there would be another chance in this session. They've become very good friends of mine, and I told them I loved them. And I told them that I'm not going to stop fighting for them and their children. I'm just not.